I'm here with Sam Shrimpton from Teylu. Sam, thank you so much for joining me today, based at Cornwall Innovation Centres.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what Teylu does, please?
So we're a marketing agency,
Yep.
and we basically service clients of all sizes, multinational corporates all the way down to SMEs. But essentially what we care about is taking really senior strategists and aligning them to make impact in the first quarter and over the next few years for any brand we work with.
Wow, okay. Let me break that down. So, any particular type of business you're working with? Because for me it's sounding like big businesses.
So no, we work with all sorts. So, you know, one of our clients is Danny at the coffee factory in Devon. He's he was one of the first innovators to create a subscription business in the early 2000s.
Ah, smart move, yeah.
Yeah, and he's great, like local business, but with a national footprint.
Yeah.
So we help them in their e-commerce world and across all sorts of facets, but then we also work with the likes of HMS Networks, which is a 300+ million turnover company running their lead gen across like 48 countries. So yeah.
Lead gen, for those who don't understand?
Lead generation, yeah.
So that's basically getting more business or leads or inquiries into your business.
Yeah,
isn't it?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you started up the company, is that right?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, how long ago?
I think it was 2017 in our first iteration, but we went limited in 21.
Okay. Yeah. And was it just you yourself or someone else involved from the beginning?
So I mean, I'm the one that bears all the responsibility, but I've always had great people around me. The reason I started it was because I'd worked in lots of big agencies over the years, you know, all the big names, you know, like everyone's read Ogilvy and BBDO and Grown, all these big agencies. But the thing that always happens in those businesses, which they can't help once they get to a certain size, is the fact that this really clever senior people that you read about do the strategy, but the delivery can't affordably be done by those people because they build themselves into a system where they've got an office on Bond Street or you know wherever, and there's ping pong tables and bars and all sorts of rubbish. So our whole model is the opposite of that. It's basically how do we keep the people that are really good at clever ideas and innovative thinking, and you know, I don't want to sound jargony, but we basically try and find the £10 insight that makes the £1 million revenue.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah, so but that only happens if you have people that have lots of experience working on the job. So we don't really have lots of juniors, we just have a remote first approach, and the whole ethos of the business was, let's get really smart people in the company, keep them for a long time by giving them the best life they want. So when someone's fed up with London, they can move to Cornwall and live by the beach and work with other great people. But you know, we don't have to extend an overhead of a London office to our clients. We have a London base and we're based here, and we go all over the place, but it makes us super efficient. So all the cost goes on the work, which is where we kind of sit.
And that's incredible, isn't it? Rather than having the big offices with the slides or the ping pong table, just work from home.
You won't catch me dead in a WeWork. It's not happening.
However, I did notice once when visiting your office, you had a very unusual chair, let's put it that way, with a steering wheel.
Oh, yeah, I do have a simulator in the office.
Yeah, exactly. So
but see, this is you've exposed me now. But this isn't for staff, right? That's because of my own hobby.
So what is that hobby then, Sam?
Well, I do a bit of racing on the side, so it's a good way to practice. But there isn't much space with 2 young toddlers at home to put a simulator, so I've used executive privilege and put it next to my desk.
And that is one of the advantages of being the boss, isn't it?
That is the advantage. But as I said, like we use the hub here as like a satellite office, and it's great for bringing clients down, different environment, and things like that to be in Cornwall. So it's fantastic for that. And there's not many clients see that simulator. That's for sure.
Oopsie.
Yeah, I know. Throw me under there.
No, it's great for everyone to see what else you do apart from work, and family, obviously. It's great to know you have this hobby. So on that theme as well, you practice in the simulator occasionally, obviously not from working hours, and or whenever you want, you're the boss.
Well, no, not when the team's in there.
Not the team's there.
It's hidden behind a nice strong piece of wicker most of the time.
And when you say racing, is this sort of like... because I'm completely uneducated in this field. Are we talking like Formula One? Are we talking old bangers?
No, it's GT racing.
GT racing,
my passion, I love Formula One, but my passion is the Le Mans Endurance Series. That since I was a small child, I've been going to those. My dad's been taking me to Le Mans in France since I was a kid. I think I was born, and then he put me in front of watching racing cars. So
incredible.
That's the stuff. But in the end of 2024 now, Ginetta, a British marque that not many people know of, is a purely racing business. They make the most successful GT cars of all time. They have a race series and they ran a competition. As a Christmas present to myself, I went and did a day where I could enter a competition but drive one of their race cars for the day, and I ended up winning it and getting a race drive for a year. So I did that last year, which was great.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's a very different hobby to have. Incredible. Well done.
Yeah, it was quite a selfish one, but it was a one-off at the moment, and we'll see what happens. But it was a fantastic experience.
Well, and also, I was talking to someone else earlier about selfish, but as a business owner, it's so stressful, particularly if you've built the business from nothing, an idea in your head. You've created this business which is functioning. You've got team. You've got people relying on you to pay their mortgage or rent and eat.
Yeah.
It's extremely stressful, and obviously you get ups and downs and stuff. If we don't look after ourselves with these fun things that we love, it's it is selfish, but that's given you joy.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I think
switching off, and you may have these incredible ideas from behind the wheel or even on the drive up to different places where you're racing from.
It was really good actually to be thrusted back into a really competitive environment where your business isn't potentially going to fail behind that competitive environment. I don't think a lot of people realise that running a business is, you are essentially doing a sport every day.
Yeah.
And I think, Teylu is our name and it means family in Celtic Cornish, but the reason we have that is because I've worked for a lot of agencies, and the other side of our model is the fact that by not having stupidly fancy offices, I can give people great benefits and work-life balance. And we try and do, people can flexi work whenever they want. I don't track any holiday. You go away all you want as long as you hit targets.
I love that.
So, we have good health benefits. We have great maternity policies. It's just, that's all the stuff you don't normally get. But as you say, doing that means that you have to, you're always on to make sure you deliver those kind of things in today's environment.
But also, I think by giving your team the facility to have a life that they love, and a job that they are passionate about, they're going to stay for longer, which in turn means less hassle for you, less time wasted interviewing people. And it's I think more business owners need to embrace what you're talking about, Sam. Treat your staff with respect and look after them. They're going to stay longer and be happier, aren't they?
Well, it's weird. Like a racing analogy on that was, I had an epiphany about last year. I hadn't driven a race car before, and the mechanic just casually said to me, he was like, right, you've got new race pads and discs on right now, so you need to drive at 60% precisely for the next 2 or 3 laps, otherwise they're ruined. But if you go too light, they won't work. And it was all about this balance and like wearing in these things, and it just made me think about staff turnover. I'm really lucky I don't have high staff turnover, and we're a well-oiled machine because of it. So, but I've been in businesses where people are changing around you all the time, and it makes it so hard to do your job, right?
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that I have a great team.
Well, I'll counter that by saying you've created your own luck, because behaviour breeds behaviour. So well done, Sam. Brilliant. About the centres here, so we are in the Cornwall Innovation Centre in Penryn near Falmouth. We've got one in Poole, we've got one in Truro as well. What advantage have you seen from being part of this community of the innovation centres?
I think, selfishly for me as the leader of the business, the most exciting thing about it is there's other innovators around you. And because there's like a framework of who this building is for and how it was set up, it means that there are success stories around you, and it's inspiring to talk to other people in the cafes or in the groups, and there are like collaborative events where you get to understand that. But this probably isn't what you want me to say, but it's also very good in terms of, because it's a place for startups and innovators, you see people come and go because things don't work. But that's a really good reminder that entrepreneurship is about recognising when things don't work and shifting it to when the things it does. And I think, there's another business in the building that I'm quite friendly with, the leadership team, Salto. We chat in the cafe. But like, they're a great example. They set up their business, but it wasn't what it is now.
No,
and they've shifted a long way from where they originally were. But they're a massive success story, and they've just exited their business and all those things. And so that kind of thing is great to be around, because you feel inspired, but you're also reminded of the fact that you're pushing boundaries and
and well done, because you've lasted this long in business, because
every Christmas
it's no mean feat.
I hope there's some wood in there.
I think the first 3 years I think are the toughest, but then it's never plain sailing. It's always the up and down of being entrepreneurial. And have you had clients within these 3 centres, or have you been a client of any of the businesses?
So I have been a client of one of the services, businesses in the city around legal stuff, and we've had a couple of small projects with people, but largely, for me, the building gives us flexibility to kind of scale up and down with our team. We've had bigger teams, we had smaller teams, but the building and the team here are great to be responsive to what you need from your business at any given time. And I think, we do a bit of business together, but more importantly, actually, it's the connections to other businesses via collaborative business. So it's not necessarily that you're doing business with people in this building, but by being in a business environment, people go, oh, I know so-and-so, they might actually need a hand or whatever. So it's more that kind of introduction that you get.
Yeah, and you wouldn't get it from working at home, obviously, because you'd just be yourself, lonely.
No, it's just me
on the
making
kitchen
a coffee,
table or whatever. Yeah, exactly. And any, well, I suppose we talked about the perfect client. Any challenges for being physically in Cornwall? You talked about the benefits of having this sort of lifestyle of, flexibility for your team and everything. Are there any challenges for your business? Being based in Cornwall?
I would say the biggest challenge is one that we're facing all over the country, which is that we don't really have an economy that's being supported by our leadership. I'm going to be polite around it, regardless of which party or colour you support. The last 10 years have been hard for everybody. So I think the biggest challenges aren't really county specific. We do business internationally from here. And I'm a firm believer with setting up the business remote first, well before COVID hit, that you can do business with anyone anywhere if you're focusing on the work.
Yes.
I think the crucial thing is that Cornwall gives us something that you can't get. London is receiving crazy inflation as we are here, but the difference is I still get to go to the beach, but someone that has a longer and longer commute because they can't afford to keep renting the centre of London isn't getting any benefit from the way their lifestyle changes, whereas we do down here. So I think being able to access facilities of this standard in the southwest, we have incredible internet speeds, the building's safe and secure. We can do professional events if we need people to come down and we want to host something with clients or do an away day. It's really good. And because we've got train connections quite close, Holly, one of my team, lives in Penzance, so we can just get people to get on the train to Penzance and bring them in, and it's just super easy.
Yeah, exactly. Loads of benefits then, basically.
Yeah.
And where do you see the business going, next 3 years, 5 years?
Stratospheric. No, I don't
world
know.
Domination.
Yeah, world domination. No, I think, we've never been driven by having some sort of big exit. We're a weird dichotomy of lifestyle business and trying to be successful. I never want to become a giant agency. That's not what we're aiming to do.
Yeah, I think I've got that from the very beginning.
I'm proudly independent because it is the only way that I can see that you can do what we do.
Yeah.
The crucial thing for us is stability. So we do the best work when we have stability. So if I can get the business even more stable in one of the most turbulent economic times that we're experiencing recently, then that's my aim.
Yeah, you've done a really good job, I think. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to tell us about your business at all?
I don't really know. I mean, I think I don't know who's watching this or who would want to even hear me talk. So it's
everyone. It's going on YouTube.
Okay, great. I think the crucial thing is that we live in a world right now where AI is all my clients are talking to me about. And the one thing I would say is, there's lots of service providers out there that are going, how do we fit into the world of AI? The one thing that I'm experiencing alongside other competitors that we work with or partners that are other agencies is that, senior expertise partnered with AI is incredibly strong.
Yeah.
And we're lucky that the business we started building, almost 10 years ago now fits that nice little recipe.
Yeah.
So I think, anyone that's looking for partners that can leverage great technology to have massive impact, that's kind of the work we're doing now. So if there's anyone out there that's watching this, we can help with that.
Fabulous. I love that. We're going to leave it on that nice, positive note, Sam. Thank you so much for your time today and all your insights, and good luck with the racing and business.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.